And that's the league. What a heartbreaker. I am gutted, truly gutted. That is a horrible performance from Chelsea, a horrible result. To drop 2 points to a threadbare Everton team, to an Everton team in complete and utter disarray, to Rafael Benitez. Everything about tonight was simply awful. We had so many opportunities, we had so much possession, and we didn't make anything count. You cannot have a first half as dominant as that in both chances as well as possession and go in at 0-0. I mean, it's bad finishing, and I'm going to come on to why, because I do have a real issue with this fixture. But there was so much bad finishing. The lack of attacking options is a problem. People constantly say that Chelsea have a brilliant squad. Michael Owen's been banging on about it. Chelsea's brilliant squad. And you're like, what are you talking about? The squad is threadbare. Chelsea are bringing on Ross Barkley. Look at the depth at Manchester City. Look at who's sitting on Liverpool's bench and talk to me about the depth at Chelsea. It really isn't good enough. And Chelsea are clearly a level below Liverpool and Man City. Yes, I think we are above the rest, but we aren't competing at those top two. And I truly believe that we could win the league because our defensive unity was so solid and Thiago Silva at the back is absolute perfection. But we just don't have it. We really don't. And when you look at the chances spurned, it really does make you ask this question. Why did our game go ahead? Look, I don't want football cancelled at all. I don't. I think football should be played and preserved. And I think football is a rite of passage and a happiness and so valuable to so many. I want the games to go ahead desperately. But they're calling games off. Tottenham have been called off. Man United have been called off. Chelsea have no recognised forwards available. Absolutely none. You've got no Werner, no Havertz, no Lukaku. Hudson-Odoi's not there. We're playing Saul Niguez up front. Do you know what I mean? Like, what chance have we got? Realistically, if you're calling games off, and I don't want that to happen, but if you are, how are Chelsea not called off? How are Chelsea going ahead when we have absolutely no attacking players? All three of the four conceivably play number 9, don't they? 3 of the 4 conceivably. Lukaku, Havertz, Werner conceivably play through the middle and presumably score against this Everton team. None of them are available and the game goes ahead. Tottenham's off, Man United's off, Chelsea goes ahead. How can that be fair? How can that be possible? But it is a problem. I mean, it's not the only problem, but I think that should really be explored. I think people need to look at that and ask the question why it went ahead. With regard to Chelsea, though, we are responsible for our own performances, and the team that was put out by Thomas Tuchel should have won the game. It should have won the game. It was better than the Everton team. Everton were threadbare. They were totally threadbare. And they obviously came to Stamford Bridge desperate for a 0-0. They played very well for the 0-0. Chelsea had something like 80% possession. But we just didn't have enough intensity, enough creativity. And it really is frustrating. So frustrating. I mean, that Jared Branthwaite who scored, I mean, his only previous professional goal came for Carlisle versus Morecambe in the EFL Trophy in 2019. Such a terrible, terrible performance. Lacking in so much intensity. It's a real shame. I'm just gutted. I really am gutted because there is now, in my opinion at least, no way that Chelsea can realistically compete for the league. Manchester City, in similar circumstances, they win that game easily. Not only do they win it, they probably win it by about 4 or 5 or 6 or 7. And, you know, we've limped to a 1-1, and that is why Chelsea won't win the league. Liverpool went a goal down today and bang, right back in it. Right back in it. No nonsense. And Chelsea now have a real problem because our squad isn't good enough. And this is going to go back to what I just said about Michael Owen. Michael Owen saying that we have a brilliant squad. What are you talking about? What on earth are you talking about? We have a good first 11. But do you know what? We haven't played well since we played Juventus at Stamford Bridge. That is the last time Chelsea put in a good performance. And do you know what happened that day? Ben Chilwell got injured. And the drop-off from Chilwell to Alonso has had such a detrimental impact on us and who we are and what we're trying to do. The drop-off from Chilwell to Alonso is then the same again from Alonso to me. You know how much better Marcos Alonso is to me as a footballer? That's what Ben Chilwell is to Marcos Alonso. we need Chilwell. Chilwell and James playing together is exactly what we need. Reece James was magnificent again tonight. Beautiful assist for the Mason Mount. What a man. But Reece James was brilliant again. The performances that we were putting in with Chilwell and James were so good. And then Chilwell gets injured, and since then we just haven't looked good. And then you take N'Golo Kante out of the team, and we're so average. We are so average. Look at our performances lately. We drew 1-1 with a managerless Man United. The Watford game, we were poor. Got beat by West Ham. Leeds got out of jail. And then Everton. It's such a shame because it was there for us this league. It really was. I did think it was going to be tough, but we were potential champions. But we are nowhere near that level anymore. We are absolutely nowhere near it. And we've been a victim of our own idiocy. 5 years ago, you and I could have had a debate about whether Marcos Alonso was good enough to play for Chelsea. 5 years ago. We're still having that debate today. How is that possible? If he potentially wasn't good enough 5 years ago, and I thought he was, but if he potentially wasn't, how can he be the answer today? When you look at our strength in depth in the middle, you go Kante, the best player in the world in his position, so obviously the best player at Chelsea, then goes Kovacic. The drop-off there, I'm not a big fan of Jorginho, you know that, but then the drop-off from there to Sal Niguez, Loftus-Cheek, Ross Barkley, I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? Conor Gallagher's better than any of the players I just mentioned, and he's at Palace. Get him back now. We need that dynamism. But today is a day that the 3-horse race for the Premier League became a 2-horse race. And I have been flagging this. It's really odd because I've been saying that there is a vulnerability to this Chelsea team. And you look a bit of an idiot because I'm staying on the kickoff or wherever. I'm having a debate with Adam McCullough. And I'm going, Chelsea are struggling. He's always saying Chelsea favourites for the league. Adam has constantly said Chelsea favourites for the league. And I said, I don't know, we're looking shoddy, and Man City are only in third gear at most at the moment. They're already 6 points better off than they were this time last season, and think how good they were this time last season. Think of where they ended the season last year. They got 6 more points than that already. They're only warming up. And Adam's constantly telling me Chelsea are good, and I'm saying we're not. But you look a bit of an idiot, because when at the time I was saying Chelsea aren't very good, and we were sitting top of the Premier League, top of our Champions League group, and Champions of Europe. But it was obvious that there was a vulnerability. And it's just such a shame because it was there for us today. We missed so many chances. And Everton didn't want to play. Everton didn't, they didn't make it. No ambition. Proper Benitez lineup. I think Rudiger and Silva made more passes than the whole of the Everton team combined. They weren't up for it. But we just didn't take our chances. The only person who did was Mason Mount. Now we can get some uplifting conversation. Just a massive player. He's our top goal scorer now, 7 goals this season, and the youngest Chelsea player to score in 4 consecutive Premier League games. I just love the bloke. I think he's truly brilliant. I think he's equalled his best tally for goals in a Premier League season as well. I just think he's sensational. But today is a terrible day. Terrible. Because it is the day that, as the Spice Girls famously sung, 3 became 2. Man City or Liverpool are going to win the league. And on that note, I'm going to bid you farewell. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please click subscribe. It really does help me out. And remember, for the rest of your days, go easy, step lightly, and stay free. Love you.